Northern cardinals are a delight to see during the winter when most of the birds left in the north are little and gray. They do not migrate, but winter with their most recent offspring and neighboring birds in the north. They can form fairly large flocks of a dozen or several dozen during this time. Usually in late winter, the males will choose a territory and leave the flock. Their previous mate or another female will join them. Then the male will chase off other males, and the female will chase away other females. Usually the male will sing from a fairly high perch to keep others from his territory, but if this is a new territory for him, he may need to chase or display to keep an invader away. The male will perform courtship displays and feed the female until she's ready to lay eggs. When nesting time comes after things green up, the pair will examine nest sites. She fluffs her feathers, he follows, and they call back and forth while holding nest materials. Finally, she selects one and starts building the nest. They usually nest in the fork of a bush 1 to 15 feet high. He will bring her materials while she does most of the building. This takes 3 to 9 days. They tend to use the nest only once. Within about a week of finishing the nest, she starts laying eggs. The female does most of the incubating. The male will bring her food while on and off the nest. Both sexes will sing. Females usually sing while on the nest, which may be letting the male know when she needs food. They share a lot of the same notes, but the female song seems longer and more complex, especially while nesting. She incubates for about 12 days. Usually all eggs hatch within a period of 1 day. The chicks are born with eyes closed, but can immediately raise their heads and open their mouths for feeding. Their food consists of mostly insects, which includes beetles, caterpillars, grasshoppers, and cicadas, along with a few seeds. They usually fledge in 9 or 10 days. An interesting note is that the brighter the red on both the male and the female, the more often they feed their chicks. At this time, the chicks are not strong flyers, but can fly short distances. The male will feed them for another 10 days, while the female starts another brood. Their habitat is dense shrubby areas like forest, overgrown fields, marshy thickets. Adults generally eat seeds and fruit with some insects. They eat many kinds of bird seed, but seem to prefer black oil sunflower seeds. They don't generally fly long distance very often, but take short trips from thicket to thicket while foraging.